will convince a lot of our folks who want the warm and fuzzy candidate, the person who will give them a hug. They want to have a friend in office instead of having a productive person in office. And these are things that I'm trying to warn people about. Nikki Haley might be the most dangerous woman in America at this point because she looks the part, she speaks the part, she stared right into the camera and lied to the United States of America because she said there is no racism in the United States of America. 3 years ago, she stood right next to Ricky Rubio and called Donald Trump a racist. Now, if you can stand your behind in front of the whole world and call Donald Trump a racist, and then 3 years later turn around and tell the whole world that there is no racism in the country, and y'all know nobody's going to hold our feet to the fire, these are the type of people who are the most dangerous people in the world because people don't fact check anymore. People don't look into things anymore. People don't pay attention to what's going on anymore. They just go with what their friend said or what I saw on Facebook. Well, she sounded like she knew what the hell she was talking about. And for her to make statements like there's no racism in America, our young brother got shot in his back walking to the car in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is about a 45-minute ride away from where I'm sitting right now. But how about this? There was a dude by the name of Adam Michael Zabrowski. Shot an AK-47 at the police and was apprehended unharmed. This week, there's another dude who shot. I didn't get his name because they didn't post his name, and I'm quite sure y'all never heard the name Adam Michael Zabrowski. Another dude shot a shotgun 30 yards away from cops and injured one. And he was apprehended unharmed. I tweeted out a video today of a brother standing there with his back to the police officers, his hands locked behind his head, and the cop kicked him in his back. You got Robert Horry and Glenn Doc Rivers and a couple other brothers on TV crying. And I'm not going to knock them for crying, but ain't no way in hell I'm sitting on TV crying. I'm not. Everybody handles things the way they handle them, and God bless those brothers. But I'll never, if somebody injured my son, like Robert Horry said, I'm injuring a couple of y'all. And I'm not going to say, I know I'm not supposed to say that, because it was taught to me self-preservation is the first law of nature. I'm not going to say that because, see, the fact that, as Stokely Carmichael said, the only issue he had with Dr. King is that he underestimated his adversaries. He thought they had humane ability. If you kicking folks in the back, you shooting folks in the back, you breaking in people's houses with impunity, the only way to answer that shit is to hurt somebody on the other side. And if I get arrested on the way to where I'm going tonight, so be it. But I'm not apologizing for defending myself. That's flat out crazy. The sad thing is, my man Mandela Young from New Max Radio just came in. He's a former Marine. I don't know if you're always a Marine. I don't know the rhetoric, but he's a Marine. I'm gonna say it with it. He's a Marine. If my brother Mandela Young was overseas doing one of these wars or whatever that they were having, and he shot a civilian, they would ship him back home and court-martial the hell out of his ass. No questions asked. And he in the middle of a war. If they found out that you shoot a civilian, they lock you up. But you come back home, you can get shot and don't nothing happen. And y'all tell me it's not about racism. And like a lot of people like to say, they scared of us. Well, I'm from the fight or flight school of thought. Everything that you're afraid of, you fight. And if you stand and attempt to hurt it, I mean, you fight it. I've never seen any, like, I'm afraid of snakes. I don't like I don't like animals, like wild animals. So I stay away from those things. But these people are aggressively pursuing murder in our names. They are convincing a section of the population that murdering us is okay. And obviously, these police officers know something that we don't know. That's why they're able to attack us the way they want to. The fact that in the mid-90s, the Federal Bureau of Investigations put out a report stating white supremacist groups are infiltrating local police organizations. Lets you know, if y'all know that, at some point, it should have been no later than the year 2000 that y'all put up screenings to prevent this. But nobody did that. And nobody's taking any actions against that. Therefore, when you see these dudes kicking these brothers in the back, like I just posted on Twitter, and when you see people shooting brothers in the back and they murdering sisters in their cars, and people say, well, she shouldn't have and he shouldn't, I totally disagree with y'all. Because even if that would have diffused the situation, remember that brother was out there in Oklahoma with his hands in the air, and you hear somebody say he's a big dude, blah, 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 then he gets shot and murdered. You think, what was the dude, what was the offense the brother was sitting in his house eating ice cream? There no damn criminals break in your house and make a bowl of ice cream and take off their damn pants. What were they doing? Philando Castile, yeah, I got a gun. Let me show you my, and then those are the last words. Those are the last words he said. See, we got to get out of this mentality of being the perfect victim. That's like when people say, and there's no disrespect to people who feel this way, this is just my opinion. When you hear people say those things, I want those people to take this into consideration. When a woman with a very short skirt and very promiscuous dress gets raped, nobody says she shouldn't, or you get excoriated when you say, well, she shouldn't have been acting like that, or she shouldn't have been dressed like that. You get annihilated. Nobody says that publicly, is brave enough to say that publicly, but when it's us, we must conduct ourselves the right way. Hey man, why? When we all have seen videos of people from other communities yell, scream, and curse and call. I saw a video today, a dude getting asked for his ID by a police officer. Asked the police officer, pig, get out. Told the police officer, pig, get out of my face. I kill you. Not a shot fired. And I'm not saying it's cool for young brothers to jump up in these folks' face, but we got to get out of that mentality of being the perfect victim in order to get the utmost respect. Because, again, when you are dealing with these people from these white nationalist groups who are wearing police uniforms, that's what you have to understand. It is not a respect thing. It's not a do the right thing. It's a person who is a race soldier, as the brother Tariq Nasheed says, and acting out all his dreams and fantasies. That's what he's doing. He was like, I've always wanted to kill one of these guys, and here's my chance. And as the brother Corey Holcomb said, and I know the union will walk me through the game. We've gotten in such a stupid place in this country where defunding the police sounds like a cry of war. Okay, how about reallocating funds? For example, if you were to attempt to commit suicide publicly today, they wouldn't do like on the TV and send a crisis manager to the scene. They send a dude with a gun, a trigger-happy dude with a gun. And if you listen to the top of the show, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. That's why I beg each and every one of y'all, when this show ends, I need y'all to listen to Dr. Joyce DeGruy and listen to what they're saying on these police calls. But the thing is, we're foolish enough to allow them to say these things and not jumping on them. I don't care if you're the biggest criminal in the state of Illinois or in the United States of America. If you're not listed as armed and dangerous, you shouldn't be trying to kill no damn body. How is it that in some way, shape, form, or fashion that people in this country believe that if a brother don't conduct himself like a damn priest when being addressed by the police, it's a possibility for him to die, and we should just go, see, man, he has to do better. I understand the concept of having a conversation with your son. I've had that conversation with my son interacting with the police. But at some point, something's going to have to give. And y'all might think I'm being extreme. I'm just saying, man, how many times I agree with Robert Ory. I'm not apologizing for being abused ever. And if you hurt somebody that's near and dear to me, or somebody who's near and dear to them, I'm not talking. And it's ridiculous. Now, my next topic is something that's a lot less volatile and it's truly beneficial, and that is the Census Bureau. We have to establish a 10-year program for our communities. All that ain't gonna work, this ain't gonna work. Well, I doubt if the people who are screaming this ain't gonna work and that ain't gonna work has ever organized anything. Because most of those people are just pontificating jackasses who think they know everything and they got all the answers to all the problems. They can identify every problem in the history of the country, but I've never heard one of those guys come up with a solution or a plan. Stage 1 of the plan: fill out your Census Bureau properly. That way, lie on it. Put a couple extra people in your house, because after the internment camps in the late 40s, after the World War, they made it so that the Census Bureau cannot divulge individual information. They can just say how many people lives in the area. The reason you have poor bus service, the reason you have poor streets, the reason you have poor funding for your educational programs and things of that nature is because people in impoverished areas don't live in the system, don't update the Census Bureau. This also goes into low-income housing. So if you're looking for some assistance for housing, there are literally hundreds of millions of dollars left on the table annually that people have not taken advantage of, haven't taken advantage of, and people haven't properly filled out the census. So now you got 35 kids in the classroom when you should only have about 21. And again, you have to be thinking forward in order to make this work. This is a 10-year process. And the reason I say it's a 10-year process, because if you establish a pattern of behavior for 10 years, the people who are a couple years behind you, they start following that behavior. And the people a couple years behind them start following that behavior. That behavior should have a trickle-down effect for at least 50 years, and then it becomes part of what your community does. Point blank, period. The second thing I want you guys to do is register to vote. I do not totally believe in the democratic process, but I do understand people don't try to take things away from you that are useless. Nobody's trying to take away my baseball card collection that's all wrinkled up and tore up, or my old comic book. Nobody cares because it's worth nothing. But if people are attempting to gerrymander and doing voter suppression, that means whatever they're trying to take from you is valuable in their eyes. And if that's valuable in their eyes, you need to use that and, again, put managers in place until you can get a politician that you can use properly. Again, managers of the political process in place until you can get somebody that you can direct and do the bidding for you and only you. It's easy to step back and say, well, they ain't never done this and they ain't never done that. Again, how many of you guys have presented a package for your community that you thought out and said, hey, this works? That's all I want to know. Now, if you guys can show me some people, y'all got some stuff in order that you can say, hey, man, I did this and it didn't work. Then